So there's plenty of essential progressions that every musician should know, like the 2-5-1 progression, or the 6-2-5-1, or the flat 6, flat 7 to 1 backdoor progression, and so on. But in this exercise, I want to explore interesting progressions we've all heard of, but few of us know really well. I'll show you the concepts behind them, how to think about them, and how to play them in any key. So let's start with a gospel blues progression that sounds like this. And of course, you've heard sounds like this before. And if you're like me, you can't wait to sit at the piano and reproduce these sounds whenever you listen to these types of progressions. So let's take a deep dive into this progression and figure out how it works. And stay until the end of the video where I'll show you how to download a PDF for today's lesson. First thing that we need to understand is where this blues or gospel sound comes from. How do we make a progression sound like this? The secret is to change our perception of what a tonic and a subdominant is. In tonal harmony, the 1 and the 4 chord are major triads or major 7 chords, and only the 5 chord is a dominant chord. But in blues and gospel, we need to consider having a 1 and a 4 chord as dominant 7th chords also. Now, a 1-7 could be a point of resolution, a tonic chord. The next step is to understand how to make a C7 work as either a 1-7 or a 5-4 because they're the same chord. So how can we have a 5-4 when the 1-7 is already that chord? Well, the trick is to increase the tension from the 1 to the 5-4. So check this out. If I have a C major 7 to C7 to F, the C7 is clearly the 5-4. And it works great because we're creating this line, B, B flat to A. The B flat increases the tension of the C major 7 chord by turning it into a C7, which then resolves to the 3rd of the 4 chord, F. So when we're in a blues context, the best way is to play the 1 chord as a triad. And now when we turn it into a dominant chord, it sounds like the 5-4. And that's exactly how our progression starts. It's a C triad to C7 to F7. Notice how the 4 chord is a 4-7 right away. This creates a blues progression immediately, but we still have a C7 functioning as the 5-4. I know what you're probably thinking right now. What if the song starts with a 1-7 right away, like in a regular blues? Then how do we turn it into a 5-4? Well, easy. We increase the tension by turning the C7 into a C7 sharp 5 sharp 9 like this. All turning the C7 turns it into a 5-4, and you can hear it approach the 4 chord because of the tension we've added to the 1-7 chord. Actually, this sharp 9, E flat, is going to be an essential note. It's one of the blue notes in the key of C. And the way we treat it is going to make a huge difference when we want to get the right sound. So our progression starts with a 1, 5-4 to 4 like this. When you're studying these progressions, it's a great idea to try to reproduce these simple concepts in other keys. There's a lot you can learn from it. Not only will you be able to use these sounds on any song regardless of which key you're in, but you'll also be training your ears to accept these sounds in different keys. So let's try it in the key of G. And you can try playing this 1, 5-4 to 4-7 in all keys if you want. Let's go back to our original key of C. Did you hear how I was using the E flat, that sharp 9 or flat 3? This note is essential in blues, and it behaves differently depending on the function that you're playing. When we're on C or C7, the E flat works well with both the E above or the D below. But when you're on the 4/7 chord, it wants to be paired with the D only. And you should practice playing the major pentatonic scale with the E flat as a passing tone like this. And of course, try it in other keys. Okay, so let's play our progression again. 1, 5 of 4, 4/7, back to 1, 5 of 6 to 6. All right, notice that when we go back to the 1 chord, we're playing it as a triad. And that's because it works better as a triad when moving to the 5 of 6. Also, did you hear how cool the E flat sounds on the E7 chord? That shouldn't really work at all. The E flat is E7's major 7th, but it still works great. And that's because it's one of the blue notes, and we're resolving it to where it wants to go, to D. All right, so far we have this. Let's try it in G. And did you hear how effective that B flat is on top of B7? That's exactly what I'm talking about. Make sure you use this blue note if you want to get this sound. All right, so let me skip the F minor over A flat for now. I want to talk about the next measure first. A 1/6/4, 5/7 to 1/7. This is a really basic progression that you probably know. The 1/6/4 is a cadential 6/4. C over G to G7 is just a double appoggiatura that resolves to the 5/7 chord. So the end of this song is very basic. It's just a 1/6/4, 5/7, 1, and then a plagal cadence, 4 to 1. But we're using the 1/7 and the 4/7 to make it sound bluesy. And in G, all right, so now we need one more chord, the F minor over A flat. This is actually a great move. It's all about using the bass as a passing tone to get from the A minor to the C over G on the next measure. So the bass line is a chromatic descending line, A to A flat to G. And the A flat is being reharmonized with the 4 minor chord, F minor. This creates this harmonic path, tonic, subdominant, dominant. And in G, it would be this. Just remember, this bass line is a chromatic line from the 6 to the 1/6/4, passing through the 4 minor in first inversion. All right, so let's play the entire progression in the key of C. All right, let's say I want to play it in the key of F. So what's my blue note? A flat. What's my 4 chord? B flat. The 6 chord is D minor, and the 5 of D minor is A7. And if I add the blue note, and from D minor I can move down to B flat minor 7 over D flat, and then F over C, the 164, and it turns into a 5/7. All right, so I have all the pieces of my puzzle. The more keys you choose to practice this progression in, the more you'll learn. I hope that was helpful. All of our members will have access to the PDF for this lesson. Just go to the membership tab and click on the link provided in the latest post. There you'll find the latest lessons PDF at the top, and if you scroll down, you'll see all of the PDFs that are available to you. And if you're not a member yet, just use that join button right here on YouTube to become one. Also, if you want access to PDFs outside of your window of accessibility, you can get our music theory journal, which is basically an almanac of all of the content that we've published so far, available on mindex.com. Thanks again for joining us today. Go ahead and stick around and watch one of these two videos here, and we'll catch you next time.